Hey guys, John here with Fillet Seafood Guys and home of the Wild Alaskan Seafood Box. We're back with another episode of simple seafood recipes. And as you can see, we've got some sockeye salmon fillets laid out here today. And what I want to talk about and show you guys is, as a consumer, as a customer, or just as someone just looking for salmon fillets, I want to show you guys some different things that you can start looking for when you're in the markets, when you're really anywhere looking for a good salmon fillet. So totally going back to my roots today. So before I started building Seafood Guys, the Wild Alaskan Seafood Box, I spent about 7 years up in the Alaska seafood processing side of the industry after I worked as a commercial fisherman. So when I finished my career up there, I was actually running one of the biggest salmon plants in the state of Alaska, and we were the biggest sockeye salmon fillet operation out of Bristol Bay, Alaska. So I want to kind of show you guys, like, looking at these fillets right here, I think, you know, right away you guys are probably thinking this is just a common, you know, sockeye salmon fillet. But what I want to kind of break down to you guys is, if you can picture the salmon, when this stuff actually gets filleted, up in Alaska it goes through a fillet machine. So the salmon that's already had the head, the collar removed, all of the fins removed, even the tail squared off, it goes through a machine, and then that's where it's actually filleted. But when it is filleted, it's not all pretty like this. There's definitely still different pieces, membrane, different parts of the fin, skin, and different things that just don't have a good presentation. So when that salmon comes out of the fillet machine, it goes onto a trim line where guys are actually right here trimming this back part. So usually there's going to be some skin left on here, and there's going to be a little bit of cartilage from the fin itself. So that stuff all gets trimmed. And as you can see now, you can't see any of that skin on there. So this stuff's already been trimmed. Up in Alaska, the most common is called a C or a D trim. And so this stuff is a trim C. And what that means, it's just the different trims you're doing. So obviously the tail right here is squared off. We've got all of the back, the fat is usually on the back, the fin cartilage, all that stuff is removed. You can see the belly right here. You know, there are fins and there's a big layer of fat. So all that stuff has been trimmed off. And then you can see the tail has been squared off. So there might be times where you guys see a fillet to where it's just like it accidentally got cut all the way up here. So it looks really goofy. The presentation doesn't look like an actual salmon fillet, you know, the natural body of the salmon. So up in Alaska, the guys are trained to trim, you know, as close to take off, you know, just to the tail itself, just to keep that nice presentation. And then as you guys are wrapping around, so then you see all of this, there's none of the belly fat, all that's been trimmed off. There's nothing left of the collar, there's no bone here. So all that stuff is trimmed out on the trim lines up in Alaska after it's coming out of the machines. So over here on this fillet, you guys can probably see that you don't have that really more natural, kind of beautiful, just kind of outline look of the salmon. So what happened here is, this is what we called up there, we call these a 2x4. So what the trimmer did is he just came with his knife and just trimmed all that belly off. So number one, it ruins the presentation. It does not look like that natural just outline of the salmon itself. And then it also, obviously, for the processors up there and the fishermen, they just cut off all of this salmon, so they wasted a lot of meat that could go to other products, or it could even go down the drain. And then again, you want this piece. Like any parts of the belly, this is where the most like oil and fat content is. It tastes so good. That's why you hear a lot of people of wanting the actual salmon bellies. A lot of people smoke them. They're just so tasty. But yeah, so you guys might start seeing that. You might start noticing, like, okay, yeah, this thing was trimmed wrong. This is a 2x4. But I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an insight of what actually goes on up there to result in the finished, you know, fillet itself, and just that beautiful presentation of what I hope you guys are seeing in most other places up in Alaska. So we definitely go through this stuff. and we definitely account for, you know, which fillets are correct and which ones aren't, and we try to do our best to pull those out. But anyways, I hope this is a little bit of awareness, a little bit of education, a little bit of insight for you guys, and kind of gives you a little bit of a perspective of what goes into the salmon up in Alaska when they're working on it. But visit us at thewildalaskaseafoodbox.com. Check out our brand new salmon box to get shipped to you on a monthly basis, or we've got one-time purchases, one-time boxes to go out. Hope you guys enjoy this. Thank you.